Hello, my beautiful friends. We are living in a threshold moment here on Earth where everything is changing and changing rapidly. The old systems are breaking down while all kinds of new possibilities are emerging. So I want to give you a moment to revisit your spiritual awakening because I don't think any of us have fully tapped in to the massive opportunity that our awakening has provided us. And if you're new here, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I work together with an interdimensional, interuniversal, and extraterrestrial force known as Telstar, along with Archangel Michael. Now, the fact that so many people around the world have undergone a spiritual awakening is not random. It's part of a much larger transformation on planet Earth. As we know, the news is always telling us that everything is falling apart. And yes, of course, there are immense challenges that we face. But to truly understand what is happening, we need to zoom out to a cosmic perspective, what I often like to call an extraterrestrial perspective, which just means an expanded perspective that is way bigger than just what is happening here on planet Earth. So let's step away from all of the global conflicts, the division, and the strife, so we can look at our situation in a far more compelling way. Today, I want to talk about something vitally important, and that is how the dramatic changes happening on our planet are calling you to make an equally dramatic shift in your consciousness, in terms of how you see yourself, your purpose, and your relationship with the Earth and the universe. We need to remember that Earth is also on an evolutionary journey. Think about how often this planet has had to transform herself for billions of years with everything that has ever gone on here. And no matter what the crisis, our beautiful planet continues to come back and restore herself over and over again. Now we stand at a new evolutionary threshold. Cosmically speaking, we stand at another great turning point. It's literally a shift from one world age into another. I often like to think of this as being like a cosmic dance with the universe. So we can actually look at today's challenges not as the end of something, but as evidence of a possible new and more advanced planetary awakening happening through us. We now have a chance to see a new relationship between humans and the living Earth. We have a chance to more fully understand our place in the cosmos and why we are actually here. Now, in addition to everything else, we have just introduced AI into our world, and it is going to profoundly influence our human evolution depending upon how we interact with it. So whether AI becomes a force for liberation or limitation depends largely on the human consciousness that guides its development and its use. This is why your awakening matters so profoundly at this moment. And here's another wonderful thought. I think people are starting to understand that we humans have an immense capacity to bring forth benevolent technologies that will truly benefit us and the natural world. We have a chance to expand our awakening into a profound revelation about who we are as creators and stewards of planetary worlds in the universe. But such revelations can only blossom through a corresponding quantum shift in our human level of consciousness. And this is actually trying to happen through each and every one of us right now. The reason I want to invite you to revisit your spiritual awakening is because your awakening holds an invitation to make this quantum leap in consciousness. I'm talking about a fundamental transformation in how you understand yourself and your place in the world. Not just a better version of your current identity, but a completely new way of being. Now, maybe you've already felt this intuitively. Sometimes it comes through a profound and unexpected revelation during meditation. And sometimes such experiences can just happen in nature. I have had a number of these kinds of experiences where the physical world appears to transform before my very eyes. I remember one time when we lived in Pennsylvania, I was driving along a very ordinary tree-lined street on the way to pick up my kids. Suddenly, as I was looking at the tree branches leaning over the road, I saw the leaves begin to transform and sparkle with energy and life. It was as though everything was alive in a whole new way. And this is what is going on everywhere behind the filters of duality that we are usually completely submerged in. Literally everything that exists is just filled with light. And in the experience I just shared, I could see the oneness behind all things. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like there's a miracle happening behind everything. Now, I like to think of such experiences as activations that are designed to remind us of what is true. But here's something else to consider. These kinds of experiences aren't necessarily just personal. They are glimpses of an emerging consciousness on this planet that recognizes our fundamental interconnection with all of life. So I want to encourage you to stay open to such experiences yourself, because they happen by surprise. You can't make them happen. You can't force them. It's just like a beautiful, magical gift that is bestowed. Now, this transformative time in Earth's evolution is offering us an opportunity to not only have such experiences, but also to embody them. We can call this act of embodying a higher wisdom and a more profound experience of life, and most importantly, of who we are. Now, this requires a quantum shift that goes well beyond intellectual understanding. This is a powerful shift in consciousness that we have an opportunity to live through our bodies, through our relationships, and even through our daily choices and activities in life. The level of transformation that we now stand at the threshold of is very much like the metamorphosis from a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. When we have a profound experience of life that opens up new doorways of consciousness, we want to have the courage to live as though that experience is real, because we know it is real. It doesn't matter if anyone else knows it or not. The most important thing that will move this planet forward is when we as human beings embody the reality of what we know is true, instead of just letting it be a peak experience that will fade away if it's not nurtured and lived. And that is quite a challenge, but quite a magnificent challenge that stands before us. So let me know in the comments if any of you have had glimpses of something that you felt was truly profound, that you knew in your bones was true, even if the world around you couldn't recognize it. I have had so many of those experiences. And I really think we are approaching a time where we need to shift from just saying, that was amazing, or that was so inspiring, or that was so beautiful, to learning to embody it and making it who we are here on planet Earth, instead of just some wonderful experience that happened once upon a time. So I want to invite you to be open to new feelings and new sensations that are signs that your intuition is telling you something new about the world. And I also want to give you a little tip about something that you might want to be aware of. There are so many stories being promoted on the internet that claim to report secret, outlandish events happening behind the scenes here on Earth. Many of these stories are incredibly detailed, with invisible heroes and complex galactic level plots. Or maybe they are stories about how amazing things are happening politically behind the scenes in secret. The one thing that these stories all have in common is that there is never any actual evidence produced to show that they are real. You simply have to believe them. So here's what I want you to consider if you have been in the habit of listening to a whole lot of these different types of stories. I want you to pay attention because sometimes if you really get hooked into such a story where there's nothing in the world, nothing in your reality that offers you any evidence at all of the fact that that story even exists, what that can actually do is pull you away from the reality that you're living in right now and give you a false sense of security where you just wait around for these good things to happen and hopefully someday show themselves out in the open, which interestingly they never do. And guys, this has been going on for decades. This is not recent. Now, I would suggest that a much better course of action is to develop and strengthen your intuition. Your intuition is an amazing faculty. It's meant to function as an internal guidance system. It actually gives you direct access to the intelligence that lives behind life itself. Intuition is like a sixth sense that can oversee things beyond ordinary time and space. It stems from a quantum level of higher knowing, and this is why it often doesn't make sense to the conscious mind. Intuition informs you through whispers in your consciousness. It comes through subtle body sensations and quiet knowing. It doesn't really come in words. Sometimes it comes through synchronicities that seem far too perfect to be coincidental. And by the way, as an aside, fear and anxiety are not intuition. Pure intuition is never accompanied by fear or anxiety. And I know that sometimes confuses people, so I just wanted to mention that. Now, there are a few ways that you can strengthen this inner compass of intuition. One of the best things you can do is find time every day to sit quietly in meditation or just sit quietly in contemplation. I love to do that. In addition to formal meditation, I love to spend time just sitting and being. It's like being fully present with yourself and your life as it is right now. And then pay attention to how your body feels when you make decisions. Do you feel a sense of constriction or do you feel a sense of release? Notice the difference between fear-based reactions and more graceful responses that feel more aligned with your soul. And it also helps to practice honoring your intuition, even in small ways, simply by acting on that intuitive feeling. What's really fascinating is that you would be surprised how often your intuition informs you multiple times throughout the day when you're actually paying attention. Now, we're probably going to be experiencing a lot of collective changes on this planet begin to intensify even more. You can build an inner sense of resilience by developing and supporting your own intuition. Your intuitive resilience can actually be a wonderful foundation in the face of all of this change. And the cool thing is we're born with this gift. We all have it. It's just developed to different degrees in different people. But when you develop a strong sense of intuition as a foundation, it will allow you to respond to uncertainty with presence instead of with panic and anxiety. It can also help you to respond in a state of flow instead of reacting in a state of rigidity. Now, I want to help you have a greater sense of a larger purpose in your own personal transformation, because your own personal transformation has a larger, powerful effect. Every time you make certain shifts, like shifting from fear to trusting yourself, or from division and separation to love and connection, or from being what I like to call a compliant wallflower to being a creator, a cosmic creator. Every time you make these kinds of shifts, you're not only changing yourself, you are literally changing the field of consciousness that we all share. And this is where you can see the laws of quantum physics in action. I truly believe we are on the verge of awakening as quantum creators. See, at a quantum level, once particles are connected, they remain influenced by each other regardless of distance. And this is exactly how it is that each and every one of our consciousnesses remain connected to the whole, remain influential in the context of the larger collective of humanity. So if you look at everything happening on Earth at a quantum level, you might be able to see that your awakening and your consciousness create ripples throughout that field. For example, if you are in a state of presence, if you are in a process of transformation, then a person you pass on the street, or let's say a friend or a colleague who notices your centered presence amid chaos, or maybe it's a child who kind of absorbs your way of being. All of these people are touched by your transformation and your consciousness, usually in ways that you will never even see. And this is just the starting point of how we can participate in Earth's evolution. See, when we feel that new consciousness, that higher vibration beginning to emerge through us, through our awakening, we can take it a step beyond just saying that was a really cool experience. We can take it a step beyond that by becoming the living embodiments of that consciousness. That is the opportunity that we are standing at the threshold of today. And see, this is very, very different than going through life, maybe having some profound experiences, but just keeping those experiences inside of us, and because we don't feel that we can talk about it or share it, or that it matters to anyone, or that anyone would even understand it. This is a completely different way of being, where you take those experiences that you know are real and you seek to become the embodiment of that beautiful experience. Not in words, not by labeling yourself in any way at all, but just by becoming something beyond what you may have thought was possible. And on a more practical level, it's probably a good idea to remember that the world actually needs each and every one of us when it comes to our unique gifts. For example, whether you're a teacher, whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or a parent, you have an energetic field of influence. That's so powerful to realize. And now you have the opportunity to shape and create that field of influence in a whole new, much more profound way. Now let's talk about how we can practically navigate this time of transition. Here are just a few things that you can focus on. First of all, cultivate discernment. We are flooded with information, with opinions, and with all kinds of teachings. Not all of these things support our genuine awakening. And it can be tricky because there is so much information that is available to us all the time. So here's how you can discern what is right for you personally. Ask yourself this question. Does this information or this practice help me feel more connected to myself and to all of life? Does it empower me to expand my consciousness? Does it expand my capacity for evolution? And you can trust your body's wisdom here. Sometimes I think the body has greater wisdom than the thinking mind. Next, it's very helpful to find other people who you resonate with who are also on this very same journey. Community is so important to feel supported, to feel strengthened, and most importantly, to feel validated. And you can also think about healing your relationship with the earth and the cosmos. And I say that because all of this technology that we are immersed in can actually begin to serve as a barrier between our natural relationship with the earth. So remember that you are a part of the earth. You are a part of nature and of the stars. In fact, you are an integral part of the entire universe. And finally, it's really helpful to get comfortable with navigating the unknown. Practice surrendering to the magic of life and stay consciously connected to the divine love that backs all things. And here's something really fantastic to remember. The quantum field of infinite possibilities often delivers solutions that are far more elegant than what our conscious minds can conceive of. I have had many direct experiences of such things. I also like to think of the quantum field as the field of miracles. We live in a very magical state when we learn to open up and connect with the truth of our being here in the universe. Now, we are here at this pivotal moment in Earth's story for a reason. A spiritual awakening is by no means random. You can almost think of it as being like a planetary initiation into a completely new way of understanding ourselves as humans. Now, the changes ahead of us may sometimes feel quite overwhelming, but that's actually kind of natural. Just remember that you're not alone in this transition. You are held in a field of evolving consciousness that includes countless others awakening alongside of you. Some of those people you'll meet, and many of them you won't meet. And that's okay, because you are held by the earth itself. I think so often we fail to recognize the power, the beauty, and the magnitude of this planet's consciousness. I mean, think of it. This planet has witnessed countless transformations over the course of billions of years. So the planet's wisdom flows through you along with the wisdom of the entire universe itself. Now, this planet has been through a lot in recent centuries. Think about what it's endured from human beings. All of the wars and the destruction and the division and the strife and the struggle. But also, what if our planet's capacity for regeneration of its own energy field can be expressed through our awakening? I mean, isn't that an amazing thought? That really is why we're here. So I invite you to feel the energy of your own life connected to the greater energy of planetary transformation. And also remember that your connection to the larger evolving universe can be your lifeline during the course of this planet's massive change. Your connection to the evolving universe, to that higher level of intelligence, can actually serve as your source of wisdom when the path here on Earth isn't entirely clear. And it is the foundation for the potential of a new evolving Earth that we humans are meant to co-create. And we're here to do that now through our awakened infinite presence. So I invite you to become a visionary creator, starting with your own life. Because this is who we really are. This is who we're meant to be. And focusing on this is the best way to prepare for the massive changes ahead. Now, I think there's potential for a lot of goodness to unfold in the future. So why don't we prepare ourselves for such a future right now by doing our best to become a match to that higher reality? There is so much more that we will have to talk about as we go forward together on this incredible cosmic journey, because I truly believe there are new doorways opening up for us right now that we are going to be able to step through and see a completely different reality than we ever imagined before. And I am so glad that you all have joined me on this journey. Thank you so much for being here. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you haven't already and give it a thumbs up. And also share it out with any of your friends who you feel would enjoy this message. I would love to see you again in my next video. And until then, I am sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational energy. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Namaste.